Hello, welcome back. I'm Benjamin. Tonight I want to talk about file structure and how I save my files to my hard drive. And then I want to talk about a little bit of stacking because it all kind of goes hand in hand. So let's go to the computer. Here we've got a file explorer up. And you can see I save everything to one astrophotography drive. So all my data stays in one drive. And then I keep a working folder of projects that I'm currently working on. So tonight we're gonna look at the IC 1396 Elephant Trunk Nebula, which I just finished up the other day. I keep a data folder. So I've got 3 nights worth of data, and I call it ETN for Elephant Trunk Nebula N1, Night 1, Night 2, Night 3. And it's important for keywording and weighted batch preprocessing. This is what I just found out, that I had to request help on the forums because it was lost on me that you need to have your keyword not be in the description of the file. So I've got IC 1396, I've got the date, I've got all of that already in the file. So if I was to use that as a keyword, and I'll explain what I mean later. If I was to use that as a keyword, it gets Pixinsight all confused. So I have the word elephant in the path. So if I used elephant underscore N1, Pixinsight's going to get all confused. So I had to choose something that's not in the path. So ETN, Elephant Trunk Nebula. Night 1, Night 2, Night 3. Underneath of each night I've got the dark files, the dark flats, the flats, and the lights. I separate them out. Don't really have to, because each file I have it set up to tell me what kind of frame it is, a light frame, and what filter. So I stack all my filters in the same. So like here on night 2, I did both Extreme and ASCAR D2, and I just lumped them in the same folder because Pixinsight automatically breaks them out. So when you go into scripts, batch processing, weighted batch preprocessing, it takes a minute to load up, but just give it a moment. And there we are. I like to just add directory, and I go in to my working and the data. All my data is under one folder. I select folder, and it automatically loads up all the files under every single directory that it can find. So here it is. You can see I took 40 darks. I have 40 darks, 40 dark flats, and 40 flats, and it lumped them together. So that's not good. So that is why we've got 2 things. Exposure tolerance tells it to break out by 10 seconds. So we'll just leave that alone for the moment. But exposure tolerance is a thing. When you start lumping files together, we can break them out with exposure tolerance. Like the post calibration, if I put my exposure tolerance at 1, it's going to be giving me 4 stacks, 2 ASCAR D2 frames and 2 Extreme frames, and I don't want that. I want all the filters to be the same, stack. So I put my exposure tolerance to 999, all the way up, basically. Oh, go up a little higher. Anyway, 999. And it lumps all of my folders, all my files together. So I've got one ASCAR D2 file that I'm going to get, and one Extreme folder I'm going to get. File, not folder, file. Now the calibration, however, still is wrong. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the ETN keyword. ETN, and we're going to hit the plus and add it in. Now it breaks it all out. Let's give it a little bit more room. Now everything's broken out by night. Night 2, Night 3, Night 1, Night 2, Night 1, Night 2. And it automatically puts everything together. It broke out all of my with the exception of this. And with that, with the dark frames, it did not break out. So let's go back to the darks, and let's change the exposure tolerance to 1. and now it's broken it out because we've broken it out by 1 second increments. So if it was 6.88 seconds like this is and 7 seconds, they would still be lumped together because they're so close. So you got to take a little bit of leeway with your dark flats and your flats to give them a little bit of difference. So here I've got ones at 2.81 it's on the same night. Because night 1 I've got 2.81, night 3 I've got 2.81. It did not lump them together, and I don't want them to because night 1 was all L Extreme. Night 3 was all ASCAR D2. So those filters are different. They might have different dust patterns on them. So you want them to be separate. So the dark the dark flats and the flats can calibrate out properly. So now you can see I have all my 40s and 40s here. And everything is set up, ready to stack. It did it all automatically for me. Now let's say I put in elephant, which is in the now it didn't break them out. See, all the keyword is trunk now, so it lumps everything together. 80, 80, 80, 80, 120 darks. So you got to be careful with your keywords and use something that's not in the file path, or else it gets confused. So ETN, and everything breaks out perfectly. You then use your output directory. I always, above the data, I use a PI underscore and then something video in this case for the video that I'm making right now. And always make sure that your keyword is checkout is under pre and not post, because that'll mess up things as well. So you can see if you hit the gear icon, it's now under pre and post. And I go into post, and it's giving me 4 different files. And I don't want that. I want one master L Extreme file, one master D2 file. So pre. And we want to remember to drizzle. Drizzle 3, drop shrink of 0.8 is what I have been using lately. Apply to all groups so that we drizzle everything. And you can see I've got 3 hours, 42 minutes, and 30 seconds of ASCAR D2. I happen to know that a 3-minute exposure drops off, so it's really 3 hours and 39 minutes and 30 seconds. And L Extreme 2 hours, 45 minutes. And then we can then hit run. Check our warnings, make sure it doesn't have anything important, which it doesn't in this case. And I hit continue, and it goes on its merry way stacking everything. So I hope that helped, but let me cancel this out because there's one thing I wanted to point out, which was what got me confused, was there is no tolerance for flats. Flats are always broken out if you don't keyword. So if you keyword incorrectly or don't keyword at all, it lumps them all together. You see I have all the ASCAR D2 nights are lumped together, and all the L Extreme nights are lumped together. So you got to use those keywords to break everything out, or else your flats are ineffective. Because if you just lump all the L Extreme flats together that were taken over several nights, again, it's going to take the dust motes off wrong. It's going to take the vignetting off wrong. It's just going to be a big mess. So you got to use those grouping keywords, and everything is perfect. So, and then you can run, and you'll be left with 2 files. You'll be left with 2 drizzled files and 2 undrizzled files, and then you open up the drizzled files, and then you can start working. So hopefully that helps you, because I needed to post on a forum to get help, and I got help luckily because I was very confused. So I just wanted to help out anyone I can with that, and with that I will see you later. Have a good night. Bye-bye.